Welcome to Berlin, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Harald Lesch, and it's a pleasure and an honor to speak at the beginning of your symposium on interdisciplinary research on the safety of nuclear disposal practices. Before I summarize my experiences and hints towards a new communication scenario, how to enhance the awareness of a society concerning nuclear waste disposal, let me say a few words about my scientific background. I am professor for theoretical astrophysics in Munich since 30 years. I'm teaching also philosophy of science in Munich since also almost 30 years. And my specialty is theoretical astrophysics, theoretical physics in general, and complexity. So I'm dealing in several projects about the interplay of science and technology, the scientific methods, the scientific results, and science communication. My major subject in science communication via electronic media is the relation of humans and nature and technique. Together with my editorial staff, we produced numerous television programs about topics and issues how German society deals with nuclear energy technology. And of course with related false promises, fake news, mistakes, recent developments about new reactor concepts, small modular reactors, but also about nuclear fusion, etc. And of course, also about the catastrophic handling with the issue of final disposal of high-level radioactive waste. Have a look.
Ach du lieber Gott.
Das soll die Lösung sein? Was wird hier anders gemacht? Wieso ist es hier so anders?
Also ich glaube, dass die Voraussetzungen in Deutschland und in der Schweiz eigentlich komplett gleich sind auch für eine akzeptierte Suche und für ein Vertrauen in das Ganze. Das ist in der Schweiz so, dass es einmal eine komplett sicherheitsorientierte Suche sein muss. Deswegen gibt es so Sicherheitskriterien, die allein darüber entscheiden, was der beste Standort ist. Und auf der anderen Seite gibt es einen aktiven Bürgerdialog, ne? Also eine Beteiligung, die auch wirklich eine Mitgestaltung erlaubt. Wenn man das auf die Beine kriegt, dann bekommt man auch einen akzeptierbaren Standort. Und in der Schweiz sind wir schon so weit.
Und in Deutschland wäre es schön, wenn man so weit wäre, endlich. Ja.
What should a keynote at the beginning of such a conference say? What is its content? Because almost everybody in the hall, everybody in the conference now is expert in the field of nuclear waste disposal. And some of you have been dealing with every conceivable aspect for decades. From the chemical mobility of radionuclides underground to questions of safety, culture and institutions, there is really no need to explain to you why time is a safety factor and why we cannot just sit out the problem of nuclear waste disposal. Sit there and wait. And yet, one cannot help but note that although we have accumulated a great deal of knowledge since the first controlled chain reaction in Enrico Fermi's laboratory 83 years ago, the deep geological disposal of the world's high-level radioactive waste has not been implemented. As an astrophysicist, I often use aliens as my sparringspartner. Now, you know why they haven't visited us? Because they recognized the inhabitants of this wonderful blue planet, which is supposed to be one of the most beautiful planets in the Milky Way. The inhabitants of this wonderful planet use nuclear energy, but without taking seriously care about the nuclear waste. Ladies and gentlemen, E.T. and friends trust science, definitely. Otherwise they wouldn't have survived the journey across the interstellar medium. E.T. is not crazy. My claim, they will join us. Oh yes, they will join us. When nuclear waste is far enough below the surface. Otherwise, it is too dangerous, the aliens say. Only suicidal societies would leave the radioactive waste unprotected on the surface for a longer period. By the way, crazy and suicidal. Look at the timeline for different countries in Europe and beyond. I can say that. It's a scandal. We use technology, nuclear technology, since 70 years, more than 70 years, and still the pure identification of appropriate sites will take several decades. I mean, look in Germany, one of the most industrialized, engineered and administrated countries in the world. We still have to wait until 2046 for a possible identification for the repository site. I would say realistically a factor of 2. Yeah, so we can, I think in 42 years maybe we will have an answer for the place where in Germany we can deposit our highly radioactive waste. Before the last container with high-level radioactive nuclear waste will be safely stored, it will take maybe more than 150 years. Look at the timelines. It's incredible. And now, I don't tell you anything new. The world, especially in recent years, has become apart in ways that once seemed unimaginable. The global security architecture is being undermined. International institutions are under pressure everywhere. There is war in Europe. Climate change is permanently altering our environment and. One might get the impression that the good old days of the Western civilization with its regulations, diplomacy and rational political style gradually pass. The golden days of the Western societies with their kind of dealing with problems, with also not only with competitions, but with negotiations, with compromises, seem really over. A new politics by populistic, irrational acting individuals in high power positions. It's exactly what you think. Produce a radically decreasing reliability on official public institutions like parliaments, governments, and even Supreme Courts. Security in a very general meaning is under strong pressure from all directions. For a democratic society which sees itself as a constitutional state, everyone should live with the absolute necessary feeling of trust, security and credibility. All of these developments pose risk for the storage of high-level radioactive waste as long as it had not been safely placed in deep geologically repository. The pressure to act is growing, but the disposal plans of many countries do not foresee final disposal until far into the future. For among the many problems humanity faces in the 21st century, one of the most pressing is certainly the waste problem. Our societies are producing more and more waste of all kinds, and high-level radioactive waste from nuclear power stations is one of the most extreme forms. So how can we as a scientific community foster the mental awareness and sense of urgency in society to focus on safe disposal? It must interest everyone, of course, because it's so dangerous, one might think. It must be easy to find a place because everyone should be interested in it to find one. Every day, because it's so dangerous, one might think. So, are there ways to activate mental awareness of the society positively for the subject of nuclear waste disposal? And now here's the TV moderator, the one who does TV in Germany for really more than 30 years now. And let me first summarize some of the experience we have with the TV programs, videos and several channels and presentation of live discussions, etc. As long as we show new technology about transmutation, nuclear fusion, new reactor concept, new something, they are successful, these videos. Not very successful, but at least slightly above average. Their titles are promising. They promise something new, something positive, a problem-solving new information. That does not trigger me to have to change my life, of course. The audience loves technique that works like all the other wonderful new innovative techniques that move our cars, heat our flats, fills our computers and smartphones with films, news and photos. As long as we talk about and explain about and present new technical opportunities, innovations and their possible applications in near future, the films and videos run well. As I said, they run not extremely well, but they run well enough. But videos about waste, they are well under average, significantly under average. Whatever title we have chosen, after a few minutes, the audience found out that it's about waste. Yes. And the number of viewers shrinks to a real small number. This concerns every product about waste. Plastic waste. Nobody wants to see the picture again that all this turbulent plastic circles in the oceans. Chemical waste. In the soil, the drink water, aerosols in the air, fine dust pollution, and of course, radioactive waste as well. Nobody wants to know what is going on with the waste. No? We are very happy as long as everything runs, but go away with the waste. Obviously, the viewers are overwhelmed, even if we use comics, simple language, intensive elementarization. So we present it as simple as possible, that everybody really understood exactly what is going on and why it is so dangerous. People have the impression of being guilty conscience, feel they are being blamed not to have solved the waste problem. Anyway, waste has a negative vibe. It's a negative vibration issue. Waste issues are dirty, complicated, expensive, and nobody wants to have something to do with it. Somebody else will do the job, not me. The others. It is in psychology, it's said, the global bystander effect. It's a dirty old job, but somebody will take care about it, but not me. How to improve the perception of the society and to enhance the resilience of the society for the challenges to come is subject of environment psychology. Maybe we should also look into this issue for our task, namely to find a good communication strategy for society. Maybe we can learn from environment psychology and the results of their investigations concerning climate change and the status in society of investigations, polls and experiments is find allies. So find your friends, find the people who are interested. Go with small steps. So don't think about a goal which is far into the future. Work locally, find fast success, which is very important for us, that we find an immediate success, and find local projects with short timescales for successful results. So this already shows you how difficult it will be to apply that to the issue of radioactive waste disposal, because the timescales are different. But it's also, the next point is choose your battles. So don't go into any discussion. Choose your battles, choose short-term goals. It's a psychology of, and this is interesting, it's a psychology of togetherness, possibilism, and it ends up with resignation is a luxury and pessimism is a waste of time. Sounds like a trinity. But I mean, everybody who is now attending this conference does that for decades, as I said, not everybody, but many of you. And so there is, of course, a level of frustration that it's not going on fast enough because we all know it's dangerous, it's urgent, etc. So maybe it's really good to think about find your friends, find your allies, find the groups in which you can do something, and even you should have a party about every small success. Nobody has a crystal sphere for the future, but what we can expect is an unpredictable political weather situation. We are already in an unpredictable political weather situation, and so we should constantly present the best practices on final repository sites. For example, Finland and Switzerland. We should show continuously the high international connectedness of scientific investigations. Science is not a national issue. Science is a global endeavor of humanity. Science is the best we can do when we talk about technology, technical solutions, but also our relation to nature, and also to our own nature, concerning our health, for example. So show this high international connectedness of science. Science is the best we can do when it goes about the investigations on nuclear waste disposal. Show them all the strengths, all the time, the strength and power of scientific methods, results, of communication. We all know populists hate science. They love simple solutions. But we should present them the importance of content-driven discussions, reliable decisions based on scientific recommendations and not on wishful thinking. Seems to me that might be a promising path to present the radioactive problem in a slightly new tone to the public. We can do that, and on top of that, it can pay the monthly salary. If a country has identified the repository, the site will bloom, that's for sure. In Germany, I followed a proposal that the country, for example like Bavaria, should apply for the repository, simply because the other ones don't want it. A repository for high-level radioactive waste would be a unique selling point. In its best variation, together with a worldwide acknowledged university institution for nuclear technology to provide the future experts. To own a final deposit would be like a monopoly. As the only one, you can define the price. It should be made very clear, almost every day in every public speech we held, like a ceterum censeo, that radioactive waste well under the ground is much less dangerous than on the surface. Concerning a possible communication strategy, we think it's a chance now to use a completely new political and security landscape to inform the society again. Public relation departments should find any possibility to draw the attention to the public in the net, in the radio and where else. Use comic, simple language, elementarize everything, but say it every day and every opportunity you can say it. We can only hope that we increase the number of interested people to that amount which is necessary to carry out the successful storage on one of the most dangerous challenges several countries face. I know many of you are already a member of the Sisyphus Club. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have to roll the stone again. Now, thank you very much for your work and your efforts, and it's definitely not a when. Thank you very much.